Hello, everyone, and thank you, Drew, for the wonderful introduction. It is always wonderful to be here and to participate in this product seminar. And I always like the opportunity to share the knowledge and insight about NeoLife and the Scientific Advisory Board, as well as the philosophies and the things that we do behind the scene that have resulted in so many breakthroughs and so many scientific discoveries and so many great products. Now, today, I want to take a little different approach. I want to take you on a different journey this time, a little journey that looks into some of the philosophical things that set NeoLife apart from all the others. Particularly, I want to look at this idea of based in nature and backed by science. Okay, now that's easy to say because I just said it and it takes a few words. But at NeoLife, it's something that we've been doing and it's at our core since the day the company started. And it's not something that we added along the way. It's one of the core building blocks and it's the foundation of this company that has allowed us to excel throughout the world. So based in nature and backed by science, let me show you what I am talking about when I talk about products being based in nature. We talk about using nature as our guide when we want to figure out what the body needs or what's the best way to approach solving a problem that has to do with our health. We first look to nature and we look to nature for clues. We look to nature's blueprint. And when it comes to nutrition, we focus on whole food because that's where nature intended we get all of our nutrition. And we look for the nutrient diversity that nature tells us that the human body needs, and we never give up on this path. And we at NeoLife are committed to using this nature as our guide at every step. Then we apply science, the other side of the nature and science equation. And science is a tool, and we use this tool to help unlock the secrets of nature. And nature doesn't always tell us what's going on. So we have to look and we have to pay attention. And nature generally likes to speak in big dramatic words. But if you have time to look and pay attention in order to see and understand them. So we use science to unlock those secrets. We also use science to identify those health-promoting bioactive substances that nature placed in our food supply that our bodies need in order to thrive. We use science to develop the technologies to identify those, to extract them, to stabilize them, and to deliver them in products that you can take. And when they get into your body, they do all these amazing things. We work to deliver that comprehensive nutrient diversity that nature intended we get. And of course, we do that by providing some amazing scientific proof along with that. Now, there's a few things that we have learned right away from Mother Nature's blueprint. And one of those is that the human body is a true miracle and is complex beyond imagination. You know, we might think we know what's going on. We know a little bit about it, but the more we look, the more we discover that we don't really know all the answers. So this idea of coming back to nature gave us the tools that we need. It's just if you don't take the time to identify what those are and deliver them, you can run into problems. So the human body is incredibly complex. And think about this for a moment. You have tens of trillions of cells, each performing hundreds and thousands of biochemical reactions every second. And if you do the math, that's a lot of zeros. When you think of all that, though it runs pretty much on automatic, you don't really have to worry about it. It just runs in the background automatically. And that's a good thing, because can you imagine taking care of and worrying about 70 some trillion cells and 100,000 reactions, each one producing every second? It's unlikely. And to keep it all running smoothly, nature gives us our immune system as well. It's part of that incredible complexity of the human body. The immune system rather is there to protect and sustain and allow us to thrive within the environment. The environment, as we all know, is not passive. There's a lot of things out there that are not good for us, and it's the immune system's job to protect us from all those things. The immune system is essentially a bunch of cells that are in your body that make up the tissues and organs that work to protect us against things like infectious diseases, from bacteria and viruses and parasites, as well as harmful agents in the environment that we might encounter, things that we might breathe in or drink or consume. That's all part of the immune system's job. The most important thing about the immune system is a healthy immune system has the ability to determine what is self and what is not self. And that's really important, so that it can therefore, by knowing what's not self, identify invaders quickly and get rid of them. And because of that, it's able to respond to infections and trauma, and even in the presence of cancer cells, when they occur, because they are recognized as invaders, can eliminate them. So the immune system doesn't really need a lot from us, okay? It simply breaks down into two different parts. It works really simply, and I'll explain. There's an innate immune system, which is to a great extent that part of your immune system, which is on the outside, the part that you can see. So your skin is part of your immune system, the lining of your esophagus, down into your gastrointestinal tract and throughout your body, and then the inside of your lungs. All of those tissues, those very specific tissues, have the ability to fend off and protect us from invaders. They are the first line of defense, because very often the exposure comes through that pathway, either something that we breathe in or passed into ourselves from contact. So very, very important. The innate immune system, which is our very first line of defense. Then the second part of this whole equation is that we have an adaptive immune response. That's the part that responds when something new shows up, something that it hasn't seen before, and it starts the battle to defend us and produces what we call immune memory. Once it's taken care of that problem, it remembers that pathogen or whatever it was there before. So the next time it shows up, we get a head start and it gets taken care of. Now, most of us, or probably all of us, have some immune reaction like that, where something has shown up, and because our body is prepared to deal with it, we don't even know that there was a battle to begin with. Your immune system steps in and really, really quickly sorts everything out. So that's part of the adaptive immune system. The innate is primarily on the outside of the body, though it does have some internal capacity, but the adaptive immune system is primarily inside your body where those invasions take place. Now, your immune system does not need a lot from us, but it does need a few things to work efficiently. It needs us to deliver a balanced diet. It needs us to get regular exercise and stay physically fit. Our immune system wants us to get sleep because that's associated with immune function. It needs us to stay adequately hydrated because water is a fundamental concept of how everything in our bodies work. And it asks us not to smoke and do all sorts of other crazy things like that. And if possible, manage stress. All of those things are important, but particularly immune defenses rely on that part of those balanced diets. The nutrients that are delivered through the balanced diet, those are the things that make the immune system work. Those are the things that the body uses to build the immune system. Those are the things that the body uses to regulate the immune system. It's the things the body uses to clean up the mess, or rather the metabolic mess that we all create in our bodies. Those things are the fundamental things, and that's nature's blueprint. The reason is that the immune system needs a wide assortment of nutrients. Now, lending back to the balanced diet, It's not just a few vitamins and minerals and a couple of proteins or amino acids. It's a complex range of things nature put before us, a tremendous tapestry of nutrients that our bodies are made to thrive with. In their absence, we know that thriving becomes somehow compromised to one extent or another. First of all, the immune system needs all the micronutrients in their balanced amounts. And the micronutrients would be all the vitamins and minerals and trace minerals that are supposed to be in our food supply, and dozens of things that are supposed to be there. It needs a wide collection of phytonutrients like carotenoids, flavonoids, cruciferous compounds, polyphenols, garlic allium compounds, and things like that. That all play important roles in our biochemistry and how we work. Our bodies also need omega-3 fatty acids, particularly the immune system needs a good balance of omega-3 fatty acids because they play an anti-inflammatory roles, which I will get into a little bit deeper in a few minutes. It also needs probiotics. It needs good gut bacteria. The gastrointestinal tract is a big partner of the immune system in many ways. It is the biggest single element of our immune system, and it goes inside it goes well inside our gastrointestinal tract, and it needs high quality protein and all those amino acids that the proteins can provide. So it is not a complex demand by any means, but the reality is that most people, and maybe all, but certainly most people, do not get enough of all these things that they need. They simply don't get that diversity that Mother Nature intended, and that's where the NeoLife products come in. NeoLife products are formulated to support and promote optimal immune function. They deliver the diversity that Mother Nature tells us we need and provides. They give us both the nutrient diversity and the nutrient density that we know that our bodies need from us, and all our research that reflects and the science that backs it all up. Now, what I want to do here is I want to look at what science, particularly what research, has told us about individual nutrients, individual vitamins and minerals and phytonutrients and the likes, and then look at how we know them and look at NeoLife products sort of in juxtaposition to that, how the NeoLife products is different and how it can help make sure that your immune systems are getting what they need. So I want to start with vitamin D, okay? Vitamin D plays an immune regulatory role. Immune regulation is an important aspect of how our immune systems work. You don't want it being too much of a hair trigger. You want it to be able to respond when it's needed, but it needs to be there in the background. So regulating immune function is an important role, and without vitamin D, the body cannot regulate immune function properly. We know that it is fundamental for the activation of the body's own defense system, both the first and the second lines of defense, meaning the innate immune system as well as the adaptive immune system. It's an important first line of defense. It promotes healthy skin and endothelial and epithelial linings in your intestinal barrier and your lungs, again, part of your innate system. It stimulates the production of antimicrobial peptides. These are biochemicals that your body produces that are actually able to fight infections from viruses and bacteria and things like that, and all of the immune cells in your body. And no matter where they are, they all depend on vitamin D to be activated. So without adequate vitamin D, you cannot have a fully active immune system in your body. And the reality is that we know a lot of research that most people don't get nearly enough of vitamin D, and certainly not the optimal amount. So what has NeoLife done? We have introduced a vitamin D supplement that takes care of that gap. It fills that gap in that supply. It reflects nature's diversity when it comes to sourcing and delivery. It is a naturally sourced product, so it's whole food based, and contains a proprietary blend of both vitamin D2 and D3, which is very, very important because those two biologically essential forms of vitamin D that the human body can use. And it is a proprietary formula, so it's vegan because it's entirely vegan D, it's vegan D, a very effective, bioavailable, and most importantly, easier on the body. Next, I want to talk about carotenoids. Carotenoids are a wide array of phytonutrients. There are dozens of them. They are literally the lipid components found in colorful fruits and vegetables. They are a source of vitamin A, and some of them come in the provitamin A type, which can be converted to vitamin A. More importantly, carotenoids modulate the immune response in your body. And what that simply means is that we know that when carotenoids are deficient in your diet, your immune system does not respond as promptly or aggressively as it might, or even deliver as many immune system warriors as you might need. Conversely, when carotenoids are high in your diet, your body's ability to respond with that immune system to deliver those immune specific cells, like those natural killer cells. And when carotenoids are present, it's able to produce more of those. And on top of all of that, carotenoids function as a very important antioxidant. That's an immune system-based biochemical. It provides protection from all the things that could do harm to us. And we have carotenoid complex, which reflects nature's diversity. It's a whole food derived. It's made from carrots, tomatoes, spinach, red bell peppers, peaches, strawberries, and apricots. All of those things that you know that you need. All of those things that we know that if we listen to Mother Nature, they play an important role. Carotenoid complex delivers a broad spectrum, and we have identified 15 that play incredibly critical roles in the body, either individually or in synergy with others. Carotenoid complex is one of the most researched and studied dietary supplements. Over the years, since it was introduced, the Scientific Advisory Board and other researchers from the USDA, so the United States Department of Agriculture, and other agencies and institutes have done a lot of research. They've done bioavailability studies, identification studies. They have determined that carotenoids that are present in the food that are delivered in NeoLife's carotenoid complex. And when you take the product, it gets into your bloodstream. And when it enters into your bloodstream, these carotenoids do amazing things. And what do they do once they enter into our bodies? They protect the bloodstream from oxidative events that could lead to the formation of plaque in the arteries. They defend your cells by taking up residence in the cell membranes and defending them from oxidation and oxidative attacks. But one of the most important things, and it certainly relates to the talk today, is that we have the ability to modulate immune function with these carotenoids. And when the USDA researchers studied our product, it showed that in the absence of carotenoids, immune markers went down. But in the presence of carotenoid complex, the immune markers rose significantly and strongly, as much as 37% in just 20 days. And that's a really, really powerful response. And that's part of the idea that carotenoids modulate immunity. If they are present in your diet and in abundance, you can expect immune capacity to be at its best as well. Now, conversely, if they are deficient, then you can expect your immune system to be somehow compromised. So we can say confidently that carotenoid complex bridges that gap. And what we know about carotenoids in the diet, because they come from fruits and vegetables, and so few people get the 10 servings of fruits and vegetables that we all know that we need. And somehow a large number of people in the population is running around not getting enough of these carotenoids and therefore not having a fully functional maximal potential of their immune system. And next, I want to talk about omega-3 fatty acids. I want to take a moment and focus on specifically on their role. So these are good fats in the immune system. They are vital for balancing the inflammatory response needed for not only for recovery, but for just for day-to-day living. If you think about that, there's certain elements of inflammation that is good for you. If you break an arm or cut your finger or something like that, you are going to get what we call localized inflammation. That's a natural response of your immune system. It's what our bodies do naturally, and creating this localized inflammation is what creates the sterile platform to keep bacteria, viruses, and other things from getting inside your body through that portal. So that sort of inflammation is important. However, the chronic inflammation we see driven by biochemistry in the background, now that's entirely a different thing. And I like to look at this type of inflammation as the not so desirable kind of inflammation. So we know there's good inflammation, the immune-based kind, and we know that there's the not so favorable inflammation, dare I say the bad inflammation, that is usually driven by a poor diet, which results in an increased risk of disease and the acceleration of the aging process. So omega-3 fatty acids, let's just recap on that, plays a key role that help to keep the body produce resolvins. And what are resolvins? Resolvins are biochemicals inside us that help resolve inflammation. There's also evidence that they can also help combat infections, even once they're in your body. And they also help produce something called protectants that have an antiviral and antibacterial properties within our bodies. So those are really important for immune function, and we need to pay attention to that. So NeoLife Salmon Oil Plus reflects, again, nature's diversity to omega-3 fatty acid. Again, here, there's a plethora of products that are out there that will tell you about 1 or 2 EPA or DHA, and certainly those are very important. But there's actually a family of 8 when you eat the kinds of fish that nature puts before us that we are supposed to eat. And Salmon Oil Plus delivers all 8 of those important omega-3 fatty acids. I won't list them here, but you are welcome to engage me about their individual names. But let me say this, it provides the diversity of omega-3 fatty acids that nature intended for our bodies, that our bodies receive. It's also whole food based, comprising of salmon, tuna, mackerel, and sardines. And much like Carotenoid Complex, there's a tremendous amount of evidence to back this product up. It too is one of the most studied dietary supplements on the market in the world. At NeoLife, we have conducted numerous studies looking at the bioavailability. We've done other studies with other researchers and within the industry, and produces tremendous amount of information. We know that the Salmon Oil Plus is bioavailable. We know that when you take this product, you get an array of omega-3s, and these will take up residence in your cell membranes and reduce the inflammatory forces on your cell membranes and deaccelerate the risk of disease and aging. We know that they will improve your inflammatory index as well as your omega-3 fatty acid index and put your body in a more healthy state. We also know that when you take them, your body will actually promote the production of resolvins. We talked about resolvins. Salmon Oil Plus has also been proven to be a resolvent of promoting supplement. That's important because inflammation is a driving force, and the resolution of inflammation is important to healing. So you create an inflammation in the presence of a problem, and then you quench or resolve that inflammation in order for the healing process to occur. And through that work that we have done, we have been able to show that salmon oil plus actually promotes the natural healing processes in the body. This is a very unique element of immune function, and it's basically cleaning up the mess afterwards. Now let's turn our attention to vitamin C. And I think we all know that vitamin C is important for immune function. And I know there are numerous conversations, even controversies out there that go on as to exactly what it does. But the evidence says that vitamin C is critical to immune function. We know from research that it benefits both innate and adaptive responses of immunity. It also, the deficiency in vitamin C increases the susceptibility to infection. That tells you a lot right there. If you don't get enough of your vitamin C, your probability of infections go all the way up. Vitamin C supplementation also accelerates the recovery process, meaning that in the presence of adequate vitamin C, that will shorten your duration of illness, and we want that. Vitamin C has also shown to protect cells from oxidative stress caused by harmful free radicals that work to limit collateral damage due to excessive inflammation and by supporting a faster recovery. And the reality is that most people don't get all the vitamin C that their bodies might need. And that's where the NeoLife Vitamin C reflects the diversity that nature intended for it. Now, vitamin C, you don't find it in nature by itself. It's always along with a bunch of other phytonutrients, and that's something that was discovered quite early on. And there are all these phytonutrients that piggyback along with vitamin C. So NeoLife's vitamin C not only delivers a high purity vitamin C from whole food sources, but delivers whole food bioactive substances like bioflavonoids and proteopectins and things like that. And essentially everything that's present in an orange is in our NeoLife vitamin C. They also use multiple vitamin C sources, not only citrus, but acreola cherries are in there. And to make sure that we get the intended goodness, we use an exclusive Neoplex concentrate process where we extract all those bioactive substances that are associated with vitamin C and incorporate them in the product so that you get the intended diversity and it's delivered when you're taking that product. Now let's look at vitamin E. Now, vitamin E is something that I think we probably all know is involved in immune function, but here is what science has told us so far. Vitamin E modulates immune function, much like carotenoids. Vitamin E is low. When vitamin E is low, then the immune response or immune function is somehow hampered or compromised. And conversely, when vitamin E is in abundance, that function is maximized, and that's what we want. The presence of vitamin E strengthens the immune response. It promotes immune cell proliferation, so the generation of immune cells when an attack occurs, and it enhances cell-mediated immune responses. So in other words, when those cells identify what's going on out there, they start emitting messages to the rest of the body that something needs to be done, and vitamin E helps that. It makes sure that the cell-mediated response occurs effectively. And again, like we said before, and I will say it again, not everybody gets enough vitamin E. And if you look at it purely from an RDA, which is your recommended dietary allowances, you can say, yeah, maybe we get enough of the basic, but there's a good deal of evidence that supports that maybe we don't. Foods that are rich in vitamin E are not broadly available in some cases, but there are quite a few, and that's where we get our vitamin E plus. We use whole food sources of wheat, rice, and soy. We deliver all 8 members of the vitamin E family. So the 4 tocopherols and the 4 tocotrienols, not just only one, And most likely you'll find the alpha tocopherol, which is important, and that's what you will find in most vitamin E supplements on the market. We provide all 8 in balanced and nutritionally adequate amounts, just as Mother Nature intended. So both tocopherols and tocotrienols provide important antioxidant activity throughout the body, and some of it being tissue specific. So we can say tocotrienols function as better protectors in some parts of the body as much as tocopherols do, and vice versa. So the absence of one might leave an exposure that you wouldn't want. So having all 8 is very, very important. And next, I want to look and just touch on zinc very briefly. And zinc is an important nutrient to immune function. Science tells us that zinc is needed for immune cell development and function in both the innate and the adaptive immune system. That if you don't have zinc, it is a core building block in which those cells that make up our immune system. And if you don't have zinc, or you have an inadequacy of zinc, you have a real problem. It is essential for both first and second line defenses, and it contributes to the integrity of the immune system barriers like your skin and the lining of your gastrointestinal tract and lungs, which we call the mucosa. And evidence shows that without a doubt, that inadequacies or deficiencies in zinc compromises your immune functions on so many levels. So making sure you're getting enough zinc is important. So the real question here is, do people get enough zinc? That is still a matter for debate, as there's a great deal of information that says we might not be getting what we need. Certainly on the whole, I think disadvantaged populations are definitely not getting enough. And NeoLife Chelated zinc helps bridge that gap. It contains our unique double amino acid chelate technology developed by Dr. Arthur First, who again had this unique perspective. Being a toxicologist and a cancer researcher, he looked at the things and determined how cancers were started, but in the process, he learned a lot about how they are stopped. And one of the things he learned is that certain minerals like zinc and calcium and others have the ability to impede or even prevent carcinogenic events from taking place in the body, and that's a very good thing. He also knew that these sorts of minerals were challenging to get into your diet, and then difficult for them to be bioavailable, so our bodies to use them. And it's difficult for our bodies to even take them up. So he developed this double amino acid chelation process where the mineral is captured or enrobed in those amino acids, and the body loves amino acids. So it's getting a free pass into your digestive system and straight into your bloodstream. This product is both high purity and high potency, and we use pharmaceutical grade natural raw material, and they deliver NeoLife's 3D technology, which is fundamental to how the tablet breaks down and enters your body and digestive tract. So just to recap here, if you will, and I want to go back and talk about what I just told you about. First of all, that NeoLife spends a lot of time following nature's blueprint. This notion is based in nature and backed by science, is the way we do things here at NeoLife. And I know we will continue to do things this way and for the future to come. And because of that, we get insight into things of how things are going on in the body and what the body needs that you won't get. And if you don't spend the time doing the research, you won't get the answer. And because of all of that, we are able to deliver incredible products with nutrient diversity that fulfill all those things that Mother Nature needs, and deliver powerful formulation and scientific support to show that they work. And so finally, NeoLife has products that you can trust, and there's science that backs it up. They deliver the much needed diversity from the whole food sources and we provide the science to back it all up. And it's been a pleasure sharing this with you today. I always look forward to the opportunity and look forward to the next time that we meet. And thank you very much for your time.